Occurred, the 16th of November 1999, 19 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. Shape: fireball. Duration: 1:15. Know of observers. 2 characteristics: lights on object, left a trail, changed color bright green fireball, long green tail with bright points of light in it, moving W to E from almost horizon to horizon in about 1 minute. On November 16, 1999, my 4-year-old son and I were driving north on US 27 from Decatur into Fort Wayne for an amateur radio club meeting. It was about 1905, and we had crossed over the Adams-Allen County line about 4 miles ago. I had heard about the meteor shower expected to start that night, so I'm trying to look at the sky frequently. About that time, I noticed a bright green light about 10 to 15 degrees above the horizon, at about my 10 o'clock position. From the angle that US 27 runs, this would have been about due west of me. I thought it was too low to be a meteor, but kept glancing at it, thinking it was probably an airplane. After a few seconds, I could start to see a short, green tail below and to the left. This got my interest, so I kept watching it. It appeared to be moving in our general direction, because it was getting higher in the sky and I could see more of the tail. Thinking this was going to be one spectacular meteor, I slowed down and pulled the car over. By this time, we had been watching the fireball for about 30 seconds, and it was now so high in the sky that I had to lean forward against the steering wheel and look almost straight up to see it. The tail was bright green, and took up a good 30 degrees of arc. It wasn't nearly as bright as the fireball, which was an intense white-green light, but it was bright enough to be easily seen. The tail was also as wide as the fireball, and had a cluster of about 5 bright greenish-white points of light in it, immediately behind the fireball. Trailing farther back in the tail were about 3 more lights, not grouped together. All of these were about the same color, and were bright enough to be easily seen in the tail, but the fireball was by far the brightest. I was stunned enough by what I was seeing that I didn't pay as much attention to some of the details as I should have. For example, the exact number lights in the tail, their motion relative to the fireball and each other, the exact time or duration, or the exact spot I pulled over at. I had ever seen anything like this, and kept thinking that it was moving awfully slow for a meteor. We sat and watched, discussing what we were seeing, while it moved farther down the sky toward my 4 o'clock position, or about due east of me. As it got closer to the horizon, I noticed a gradual color change from the intense green-white to an orange color. Also, the fireball and tail were much dimmer and hard to see now. The trailing lights were all we could see as they became dimmer and darker orange, until I lost sight of them about 10 to 15 degrees above the horizon. I wasn't sure if the change in color and intensity were due to the meteor burning out, or if I was simply looking through too much atmosphere to see it well. From start to finish, I estimate the whole event took around a minute, maybe a minute and 15 seconds. My son saw most of this also, and was able to describe it in good detail to my wife later that night. Some background on myself. I'm 35, a metrology technician for a major telecommunications company, and a ham radio operator.
Occurred, the 1st of December 1998, 21 hours 20 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. Shape: other duration: 2 minutes. Know of observers. 3 characteristics: lights on object, aircraft nearby. It hovered slowly and silently over us just above the trees on a NA/SW course. It was covered in bright white lights that did not project the light. Its shape was that of a squished Christmas tree. My mother and I were watching an old Western movie when I saw 2 bright white lights which looked like searchlights on a helicopter. Mom and I went outside to get a closer look. When we stepped outside, it was directly over our yard. The UFO was on a NA to SW path. It seemed to hover just above the trees, moving very slowly and silently. It appeared to be of a squished Christmas tree shape. There were many lights which were placed haphazardly upon it. Mother and I differ on the bottom of the UFO. She didn't see a stump on the bottom, but I did. So, I saw small red lights in a single, horizontal row around the stump. The third witness saw the UFO the same as I did. It didn't veer off course, and the area surrounding the UFO did not become illuminated by the lights on it.
Occurred, the 15th of June 1999, 15 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. Shape, oval. Duration, 10 secs. No of observers. 2 characteristics, aura or haze around object. There were 7 to 9 slow-moving yellow solid-moving objects over my neighborhood. My sister and I were watching TV in my grandma's basement. For some reason my sister was looking out the window, and I had this feeling that there was something startling that she was looking at out the windows. So I went up to the window, and there were 7 to 9 solid yellow slow-moving objects moving about 10 to 15 meters, ph, over the field next to my grandma's house. We did not have the TV sound very high, and there was not any noise whatsoever coming from the objects. As they approached a main road, they disappeared in a matter of a second, as if they had some sort of a cloaking ability or went into another dimension.
Occurred, the 12th of August 1999, 9 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Fort Wayne, S.W. Allen Company, IN, USA. Shape, teardrop. Duration, 6 minutes. No of observers. 2 characteristics, lights on object, aura or haze around object, changed color, moving very slow. Then it disappeared. My friend and I are really into looking for the paranormal and UFO conspiracy. We were laying on the trampoline looking at the stars, and then we saw a slow-moving object. It had a white, blue, and red light on it. Then a few minutes later it disappeared.
Occurred, the 16th of November 1999, 20 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Fort Wayne, downtown, in, USA. Shape, fireball. Duration, 1 to 2 minutes. No of observers. 1 characteristics, left a trail. I was driving due west in downtown Fort Wayne around 8:30 p.m. and saw a very bright green fireball pass overhead. I was amazed of the brightness of the object, since I had never seen any meteorite like it before. It was at approximately 45 Daeg when I first noticed it going in a due east direction. The object was a very bright green. It appeared to be at 3,000 feet altitude, so I turned around the block expecting to see it hit the ground. As I was going in the opposed direction, it fragmented into maybe 6 or 7 smaller pieces. It fizzled out behind a 40-story building as I was about 3/4 of a mile from that building. Fort Wayne doesn't have many tall buildings, so I had a clear view of the object until it ended. I'm not sure if it made a noise or not when it passed. Duration of time visually was between 1 to 2 minutes. I'm sure there was others who saw it, since I was driving on a 4-lane, one-way street in middle of town. I work as a maintenance technician at a country club and see things as they are, but this is unexplainable to me.
Occurred, the 4th of April 2002, hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. Shape, oval. Duration, approximately 5 minutes. No of observers. 2 characteristics, lights on object seen from I-69 between Indianapolis and Fort Wayne, Indiana. Object had strobing lights that seemed to circle around it. The object moved from east to west in the sky. It seemed odd because it was a cloudy night and I hadn't seen any planes because the clouds were low. I could make it out as a circular object because the white strobing lights on it seemed to go around the object continuously. About 5 or so of the lights in a row seemed to go from left to right on the object, then disappear and reappear on the left, seeming as if the lights went around the perimeter of the object. Besides the 5 or so white strobing lights, there were also a few stationary lights in the colors of red, green, and blue that also flashed, but not nearly as fast as the white strobes.
Occurred, the 3rd of December 2019, hours 10 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location, Fort Wayne, Indiana, USA. Shape, other. Duration, 5 seconds. No of observers. 0 characteristics, lights on object, aircraft nearby. Black boomerang moving north to south at 3,000 feet with very faint amber lights below and made no sound at all. It was a boomerang shape like the one seen above Phoenix. It was as wide as my index finger at arm's length. It had very faint amber-colored lights on the bottom of the wings. It went straight over my head at about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. The moon was about 1/4, and as it went by, it disappeared into the glow of the moon. It did not make any noise.